will be working on these little squares of paper here, and you just need to trace a circle, that same yogurt container. Make sure you use the hole, the side with the hole. Place it on there. Now I have to fit my self-portrait inside of this circle. Everything, my head, my neck, and my shoulders all have to fit inside of here. Remember, you can follow the steps from our handy dandy little handout. Look at the hairstyles and things that you want here. I'm not gonna make you watch my whole drawing, but I do want to teach you one trick of how to use a pencil in a really good way. There's two ways you can, let me do it on the other side. You can use your pencil with really heavy pressure and make a line that's like really dark, but you can also just barely touch the pencil to the paper. I like to think of it as like if I were doing it on my hand, I would do it really gently so it feels nice. If you're like pressing and scraping your hand, that is super painful, right? So imagine you're drawing lightly on your own skin so that it just feels like a nice little tickle, okay? So if you make your marks really light, watch how easy it is to erase. You cannot even see that line anymore. But watch when I try to erase this one. It's mostly erased, but you can still totally see that line. So I encourage you, when you are drawing your face and everything on it, draw really lightly. That way you can erase it if you mess up. Got it? Got it. The other thing you need to think about is the size of everything. When you're working with such a small space, you want to make sure you fill it up. You fill this space as big as you can so that your self-portrait's really big. So if you're making your face only like this big, and your neck and your shoulders, that's like kind of super lame because it's so small and you have all this space. So really see how you can use, even though it's a small space, see how you can maximize it and make it really big within that circle. Okay, once you have your beautiful portrait, if there's any extra space around the sides that you want to add patterns to, you totally can. In my example one, I did like straight lines or diagonal lines, I guess, in the background. You could make like hearts in the background, or I don't know, cats, flowers, anything you want, or you can just leave it blank if you like it blank too, okay? Now, once you have your portrait, you'll come to me and get some foil. And this is where the fun stuff happens. We'll be taping your paper right to your foil. So we'll be taping it, and the reason we do that is to keep it very still. We're actually going to be tracing your beautiful drawing right onto the foil, and we want to make sure it stays exactly in its place, because if it moves around, the tracing's going to get all off. And that should be still enough. Then all you're going to do is take your pencil and press down, tracing every single one of your lines. This time you're actually going to press really hard with your pencil because you want it to trace, you want it to come through on the metal. And you can see if I turn it around, you can already start to see it. Let's see if I can get the light there for you so you can see it. You can see that curving line I made is already starting to come through. So you're going to trace every line you made with pencil so that we trace it right onto there. You can always check behind to make sure you see the lines coming through. Looks like I'm doing an okay job. I skipped forward a little bit, but I wanted to tell you, make sure you trace the circle too, because we want that circle to show up so when we are ready to cut it out, we can see it. All right, and remember, you can always check the back, make sure it looks right. You can tell really quick if you're missing an eye or something. So I think that's looking like I pressed through all of them. I'm ready to go. So once you have it all drawn and beautiful and you check the back to make sure every single line is pressed in, you may want to come and check with me to make sure you got it all and it's looking right. But once you think it's looking right, we're ready to peel off the tape and start the next step. Peel it off carefully. that's looking so nice. Okay, now you can tell right now it's kind of light, like the indents aren't very strong, and that is because we are now ready to trace it again with an actual carving tool. It's best to stick a stack of papers underneath it so that it has something soft to go into. But you're going to be given a little wooden stylus like this, and it's kind of a sharp edge, but it's thicker. That's hard for my camera to focus on. But anyway, you'll see when you do it. You're going to now trace these lines again. It's basically like you have to draw yourself 3 times here, huh? But you're going to trace yourself again, and this will actually make the dents look a little more denty, if you will. It makes them actually look pretty carved. I can show you the difference in just a second. Maybe, yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but in real life, you'll definitely see the difference between the thing that you carve with the stylus and the thing that's just been with your pencil. So we need to trace every line one more time, pressing hard with our little wooden stylus.